Hey everybody, Scott here with MotivatedCodePro.com. Today is part 4 of a 6-part series. Today we're going to talk about finding work and staying busy, staying connected. I'll be right back. Stay with me.
Shut up and sit down.
Hey everybody, thanks for coming. Part 4 of a 6-part series. This is entitled, This Key of the 5 Keys is Staying Busy. And just to recap the 5 keys, your skill and experience is number 1. Number 2, staying busy on social media and blogs and such. Number 3 is staying connected, finding work. Number 4 is going to be your CPA and business attorney. And number 5 will be sales and marketing. We'll talk about all of those things. But today and right now, we're going to talk about staying busy, staying connected. So one of the biggest ways I see people fail as consultants or contractors is when you leave your corporate position, you tend to have an arrangement with a new company. It's just like changing jobs at first, right? You step into the doorway of another company and voila, you're a consultant and a contractor. And anybody that's lived this knows that, you're immediately in mind, you're mindful of the idea that this contract is going to end and I'm going to have to find more work later. And so that fear point of how am I going to find more work later is what keeps a lot of really skilled and talented people from taking this big step that they think they might like to take and all. There's a lot of risk involved, and so people don't do it. But what we're going to talk about is, is staying busy and different ways to stay connected to people that can help you find work. And in the previous video, I talked about social media and blogs and stuff, and those are things to help you have an online presence. So staying connected. Contracts are built to end, and you need to know this going in. People that have worked for a long time in a corporate environment tend to love the one they're with. And by that I mean they see it as a permanent thing, and it's a mental shift you need to make. When you start contracting or consulting, you are no longer an employee. You're a hired gun, so to speak. You're a freelancer. You're a come in, do your thing, and get out. And that's what you're hired to do, and that's what you need to be ready to do. So keep that in mind. Subsequent contracts are harder to find because let's say you start a new contract, you've left your job, you're busy, you're grinding it out, it's that first year or maybe even 2 and it's going well, you're making more money than before, life is great. But that day is coming when this contract is going to end and you need to step out again, and it's a little chillier when you step out of that first or subsequent contracts because the work just isn't there unless you've planted seeds in your social media garden, like I talked about, staying busy with social media in the previous video. And so that's one way. But staying connected with people in your community, people that you've worked with that are friends of yours. You might say, well, Steve, he just works at XYZ company. But Steve knows people. And he knows if he knows what you're doing, you just never know. And it's good to stay connected to the people that you've enjoyed in the past anyway. It's just good life stuff, and it's also good business. And so I encourage you to do that. A thing about contracts that I want to share, and this is no guarantee, but it's something that I've seen happen over and again, and almost everybody that I've talked to about contracting and consulting that have done similar things will say this. Let's say you're starting a 90-day contract and you say, gosh, 90 days, that's not very much, but you've just left, a long-term contract, or, you're out in the wild blue yonder of trying to make it as a contractor, and you take this 90-day contract. I can't say I've seen one end at 90 days. Like I said, there's no guarantee. I don't want to set up a false expectation, but many times they go longer, considerably longer. In this previous video, where I talked about writing an article for this particular magazine, that was a 90-day contract they offered me based on, our meetings and stuff. But that went almost 2 years, and I want to drive that point home. You have to have some faith in the process because you don't truly know what's going to happen. It's fluid, right? Just because they say it's 90 days doesn't mean it's exactly 90 days, though it may. So you just don't know. But, I think it's reasonable to believe that they can go longer. Plan, hope for the best, plan for the inevitable, I suppose. But just be mindful that can happen. Okay, staying busy with online communities, LinkedIn, blogs that you're busy on, all of these things are things that will help create awareness for you in the great big world, as I said before. And so you need to have that online presence. Something else that you can do, if let's say that you work in Java and JavaScript like I do, I have connections with various consultancies around the country, and they are not only my customers, but over time they've become my friends because we've done a lot of work together. But the thing that's cool about those is they're in the same business as you. They need you sometimes to help with their projects. They have resources that you can borrow and put on your own projects if you can make the numbers work. And so that's a really big deal. That's a win-win. And the nice thing about consultancies, as compared to a direct customer where you're not like subcontracting, is consultancies. We've never had a problem getting paid with our consultancy relationships. They're in the same business that you are. They understand the need to pay, and they get you paid quick. Where with our direct customers that have paid us, I don't know, considerably more money, let's say, it's true, but sometimes getting paid is a real challenge. And for me, I write code, market and sell, and do all kinds of other stuff for this business. Work with people, blah blah. Welcome to accounts receivable. Add that to your task list. I maybe could have included that in the top 10 list of things that you have to be concerned about in the how equation of how you become a consultant. And I mentioned that in video number 1, this one. So keep that in mind. Consultancies are great. It's much easier to call a consultancy and say, man, I'm Scott. I work in EXTJS, and I'm a Java developer. I have AS400 skills. I'm an seasoned RPG programmer. I see that you guys are doing the same thing, and just wanted to let you know that I'm out here if you guys ever need anything. And basically, that's an easy sales call to make. It might be frightening at first, but believe me, that's much easier than a cold call to some company that you don't know, even if you know they're using the technology that you are selling. So just something to think about. It is good to sell into direct engagements. Those tend to have, the money's a bit better, but again, sometimes getting paid is a challenge. We've never not gotten paid. I think that's right. I don't think we've ever not gotten paid. It's been 11 years. But just know that you're going to have to work sometimes, and some are better than others, and that's just the way it goes. So while you're working on your contract, and let's say you're in your first or second or 22nd contract, you will feel the gravitational pull of your day-to-day work just pulling you in the direction of, I've got billable time to pay attention to. I don't have time to attend user group meetings, which that's another good one. Write that down. Post online, make sales calls, keep in touch with my old friends. I have billable hours to pay attention to, and that was my attitude for a long time. And it's a bad attitude because it can put you out of business. We've been fortunate, to not. We're still in business after 11 years, but I'm going to say it's better for you if you keep all of your contacts warm and treat that as really, really important, just like your billable time that feels like, the most important thing in the world some days. You have to pay attention to this stuff, the social media stuff, your contacts, your user groups, your consultancy friends, other things, writing articles, all of that. And so remember, staying busy is the hardest part. And the way that you stay busy is by investing time. Remember, I said time. Treat it like money. And so the way you spend your time is going to say a lot about how busy you stay going forward. I'm Scott with MotivatedCodePro.com. Go to the website and get the blog post for this particular video, or give me your email address and I'll send you the whole ebook that covers the whole series. So keep coming back with another video. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell if I haven't already said that, and keep coming back.